Hello everyone and welcome to today's video on Zek. Today we're going to be talking about how to unlock him, how to play him, and certain builds that you can go for on him. Zek is a mage who focuses on doing shadow damage and applying dark stacks. He's a fairly easy person to unlock, it takes about 15 minutes. On the first act you navigate to the main road, which is at the middle on the left. Once at the main road, you select the Profane option, which puts you into a very simple fight. After completing the fight, you unlock the jeweled key, which you will then take to Act 2 to complete the unlock. If you bring Heiner along, you could open up a chest afterwards to get some extra items, but these aren't necessary because now you have the key after completing the fight. Once you complete Act 1, navigate to the blue portal. In the blue world, navigate to the sewer outlet at the bottom of the map. Once there, you give him the key by either selecting enter or leave. It does not matter which one you select. And then you will have unlocked Zek. Zek's perks are fairly simple and flexible. I like to go for a 38-0-0-12. In general, I like to maximize my defensive stats, but you can, for personal preference, choose to mix and match between defensive stats, gold and shards. I maximize speed, and in the energy, I go for 2 energy on turn 2. On the mystical tab, I like to maximize dark stacks and shadow damage. Zek's starting item is called Soul Lantern, which offers some frost and shadow resistance, as well as a bit of health recovery at the start of combat. His passive, Pestilent, applies 1 stack of dark to all enemies and 1 stack of dark to yourself, but because in the perks we maximise our dark stacks, that equals 4 dark stacks for himself and 4 for all enemies at the start of every turn. Zek's starting deck includes his unique card Black Death, which deals damage based on your discard pile and applies dark stacks and jumps. It includes 3 Curse of Exhaustions, 2 Dark Pacts, 2 Dark Rituals, 3 Curse of Shadows, a Drain Life, and 3 Shadow Bolts. When adding and removing cards to this deck, I like to reduce the cost by adding a Malicious Eye and a Necrotic Burst, and I also like to add a Pestilence, just to give a little bit more shadow stacks. I remove the Shadow Bolts because I think they're inferior to the Curse of Shadows, as my main role is to apply dark stacks, and the Curse of Shadows just applies more for the same cost. When upgrading cards, I upgrade the Malicious Eye to apply dark stacks. I upgrade the Curse of Exhaustion so that they burn. And I also like to upgrade the Dark Packs to ensure that they burn as well. I upgrade the Necrotic Burst to make it 0 cost. And I upgrade the Shadow Bolt for just a very cheap upgrade to give it a little bit more power. You can upgrade the Curse of Shadows if you have some spare shards, but it's not particularly necessary. When you run Zek, it is very important to add a Ray of Hope to your healer's deck, because Zek will naturally be gaining a lot of dark stacks, and this is a very cheap way to remove dark stacks from an ally, as well as provide a little bit of healing as well. When you're looking in the shop for items, you want to look for anything that increases your shadow damage or dark stacks. In this very lucky shop, I will look for the Shadow Orb as well as the Voodoo Doll. The Voodoo Doll does replace my starting item, but I think extra dark stacks and extra shadow damage really makes up the difference. When you're looking at pets, there isn't really an ideal pet for Zek, so you can quite easily add Betty if you have a Neglect on your team, or you can add a Bunny just to give yourself a little bit more speed at the start of every turn. Playing Zek is really easy, you just look to maximise your dark stacks. It's also worth keeping an eye on the number of stacks that he applies at the start of every turn, because they go up by 4, so you only sometimes need to get people up to around 21 or higher to make sure that they pop at the start of your next turn. You can quite easily run him with Maluka to increase the amount of dark that you apply, but sometimes I think it's better just to have a more diverse team and have a dedicated healer. As we're about to see, at the start of Zek's turn he applies 4 stacks, which just instantly blows up that sheep in P1. He's really quick to apply lots and lots of damage, and is really amazing at just blowing up things. at short notice. So thank you for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Subscribe for more across the Obelisk content, and I'll see you again later. Thank you, and goodbye.